What was the first page of the homework last night? I don't remember. Okay. I have just the answers for 9 because I think that was okay for you, but if there's anything you want me to go over, I will. Here's the top half. Check the top half, A through D. Any issues there? I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. And there's number 2. Any issues there? All right, Lil, I'll come back to it, okay? I'm gonna flip. All right, this I left purposely blank because we'll go through it. Oh, there is? 1/5. This question probably would have been better served to have put it here, because you kind of need to know that you're dividing it up by fifths before you actually do it on the number line. So might have been some confusion there. Okay. Real world situations. If you think of a number line going horizontally, and just let's say you live here at 0, you could say that your friend is 3/5 of a mile to the east of you, or 3/5 of a mile in the way that you're facing to the right. And then your other friend is 3/5 of a mile in the other direction. That's a real world situation. You could use that. So anything having to do with direction or distance or mileage is fine. You could also use temperatures if you wanted to. Anything that describes a real world situation. What do you have?
It said Lake Como got 3/5 of a foot of rain in March, and then 1/5 of a foot evaporated in April, leaving the lake with negative.
Yeah, that's good too. All right, so that's all good. If you think of a horizontal number line as being east-west, you can always use direction, whether it's mileage or kilometers or even time. 3/5 of an hour. It takes 3/5 of an hour to get to the deli, which is point A. And in the opposite direction, it takes 3/5 of a mile to get to the shoe store. I don't know, but you just understand that this can be represented east and west. And if the number line goes up and down, you could do north-south, or you could do temperature. All right, so anything there for B is fine. All right, let's see how you did. The opposite of point P. J.
Positive.
Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah. And then the location of point P on a number line, if you were to visualize it, well, this is your point P, and that's going to be 6 3/4 to what? To the right or to the left of 0? Matt? Right, to the left. Opposite of opposite is what?
Negative.
You're right back to where you started with the original number. This is confusing. If I had a chance to rewrite this, I would ask you to write the equation for this, which is new to you, but here's how you do it. Here's my point P, negative 6.75. I'm going to put that in parentheses. To show the opposite of a number, you could put a negative sign before it. That's the opposite of negative 7.5, but they're looking for opposite of opposite. I need another negative sign. This is the opposite of the opposite of negative 6.75, and that equals what? Brandon? Right back where you started. The reason why Common Core does this, it seems a little ridiculous, right? But it's actually something I agree with because it's leading you to 7th grade math. Because if you think of this as an equation, a negative times a negative times a negative will get you a negative number. It's kind of leading you into what you're going to learn in 7th grade when you start multiplying negative integers. A negative times a negative times a negative is another negative number. Do you know what a negative times a negative is? Say it. It's positive. They're trying to get you to start thinking in that direction. And as a matter of fact, my advanced group today, when I'm done, you guys are going to go right into 7th grade math. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you 7th grade math problems because I think you can do it. I think you're ready for it. It's a challenge, but I think you're going to get it because you're ready. Okay? Don't worry about reason. This page I think is important for you to get. I like this for a quiz question when I do a quiz on this particular lesson, which won't be until about another week or so. Because Tuesday's quiz is covering something entirely different, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. I like this question because you really have to think. When you do this, though, you have to kind of do it out of order. And I'll tell you why. When you read the first statement, which is this: Jill lives 1 block north of the pizza shop. It says, keep reading and think about your scale before you plot this. They kind of want you to read everything before doing anything. You really cannot do this yet because you're not going to know what each line, what the fractional value is for the line. The only thing that we know from this first statement is the pizza is at 0, the pizza shop. So that I could put in. Let me go to one full screen on this. It's going to make everything smaller, but it's easier than scrolling up and down. Okay. It says that Jill lives 1 block north of the pizza shop. I don't know where to put the 1. I don't know if this is 1 or this is 1. I don't know what to break these line segments into until I read further. My second statement, this one, now gives me the interval. And I need to kind of do that first before I go back and do number 1. I now know, since I have 1/3 here, I have to count by 1/3. Do you understand? Now knowing that, I'm going to make this 1/3. This is going to be 2/3. This is going to be 3/3. This is going to be 4/3. And I could keep going, but I don't need to. My 3/3 is another name for what whole integer? Go ahead, Lil. That's my 1. Now I know that that's 1 block north of the pizza shop, which is at 0. That's got to make this Jill's house. Everything will now start to fall into place. We've done this, and we've done this. Now let's look at the park. That's this statement here. Jeffrey and Olivia are in the park, and the park is located 4/3 blocks south of the pizza shop. Integer-wise, going south is your negative integers. That's going to make this negative 1/3, negative 2/3, negative 3/3, and my park, which is at negative 4/3. That's my park. How do I know that? Because it tells me 4/3 south of the pizza shop, which is at 0. That's done. And then finally, the jewelry shop is located halfway between pizza shop and the park. Here's my park. Here's the pizza shop. who wants to come up to the board and put a dot where halfway between those 2 points would be? Okay, Gav, come on up. Do that in blue. Put the dot on the line. There it is. That is exactly halfway between pizza and park. What's that integer? It's actually a rational number. What's the rational number? Karen? No. Be careful. Say it again. Yep. Because 2/3 is here. It's totally different from negative 2/3. That goes here. And this, again, we kind of already did this in the beginning. You're counting in thirds. Are we good?
Yep.
It's a good question. I know it gets confusing, but I thought it was a fair question based on lesson 6. Let's talk about fraction families.